And we're on. All right, let's start right. Tell us your name.
Lynn.
Lynn what?
Brooks.
Lynn what, Brooks?
Lynn Patricia Brooks.
All right. And tell us about your family.
Well, the family that I grew up with, I grew up in South Pasadena in the shade of the Rose Bowl, the Rose Parade, with a mom and a dad and 2 brothers and a sister, and we were a non-Christian family. Now, my own family. After teaching in California for some time, I went to Guatemala. Friends who were running a school there asked me to come teach there and be the school counselor. So who do you think I met in Guatemala? Jamie. So, to continue, I met Jamie, he moved to California, we got married and had 4 kids. Katie, we have 3 daughters and 1 son. Katie, the oldest, is married to Ben, and I met at Johnny and Friends. How many of you know Johnny Erickson Tata, a lady in a wheelchair? Ben still works there. Nick and Emily live here, our second daughter. He's a counselor at Glen Middle School. They have 3 kids, which is why we're here, and they have a foster baby. Our third daughter, Beth, is married, lives in Maryland with her husband, Vinny, and they have an adorable 9-month-old son. And then Jamie and I have a son, Jeremy, who's in California and works at the University of Berkeley, and he's single.
He's available, ladies.
Actually, he isn't Ben, but...
All right, great. So tell us about when you surrendered your life to the Lord.
Okay, again, I grew up in a non-Christian family. We did attend a Methodist church, but I never heard the gospel. So I went to a Young Life camp my senior year, and that did it. The gospel was presented very clearly, and so Young Life met every Tuesday night, and that was great. That did it.
That's great. So you've been serving the Lord ever since then?
Oh, with a few, dips, but for the most part, yeah.
And when did you come to Parkside?
That's kind of a funny story that some of you know. I was moving here without my husband because I got a job teaching in the high school. So we had come in the summer to look for housing, but I contacted 3 churches, and this was one because it's Foursquare. So when we were here, Don Jackson phoned me on my cell phone. I said, well, I'm here. So he asked Jamie and I to come over, so we met in his office. And I said, I don't have a place to live, and I was considering living in a hotel. And he said, why don't you try the Baptist retirement home? So I said, oh. So that's where I ended up. But what happened was, he and Jamie knew a lot of people in common from Foursquare. So that's how we got connected. Yeah.
Pastor Don just followed up with one of those random...
He did. It was really cool. Yeah.
Small world in Foursquare, right?
Right.
And tell us something that you love about Parkside.
What I love about Parkside is I think there are a lot of very sweet people, many of whom are here this evening. Sweet people. Great worship team. I will mention their names. Laura, Beverly, Jamie, Buddy, New Addition, Weston, and Bill and Bruce. And all together, even last Sunday, I had a guest, a woman, came, and her first comment was, boy, love the music. You have great music. And I've heard that before from people who visited. We do have very talented people, and they're very faithful. So just a shout out to the worship team and the sound people. Thank you. And then the other thing is fellowship, which I miss, but I'm hoping that because the restrictions in Texas are mostly leaving next week, I miss the ladies' gatherings, I miss the potlucks, because that's